One and a two and a box punk. Box punk. Box punk. Box punk.
And just like that, it is Sunday. It is Mother's Day. Tell your mom I said happy Mother's Day to her. But you are tuned into a brand new live stream right here on Longbox Punk. That's me. I'm Chris, I'm the Punk, and I am joined by not a one, not a two, but now a three-time post-punk appearer, Carmen Costa, my dude. I'm
What's up, bro?
stoked, man. Thank you for hanging out with me. I always love talking to you because every single time I walk away and I'm like, God, how do I turn my brain more like Carmen's? Like,
It's not a great place to be most of the time. Dude. 2 words for you, my friend. Mood disorder. That's
Ooh,
hey,
perfect.
got
Perfect.
one of those in my back pocket. You know what I mean?
I do. Actually, I do know what you mean.
We can smell our own, dude.
That's right. That's right. It's that like hidden aura sense of just you recognizing same brain people. And I love it. So so for those that might not know, and if you don't know, then you haven't been paying attention, but like who are you? What's Proctor? What's your journey led to the 6th issue, the finale, just released digitally today as of the date of the streaming? And like how are you feeling with where everything is?
Sure. So for anybody who doesn't know, my name's Carmen Costa. I am a public school educator, but also a comic book creator. I started this journey back in, I guess, officially the winter of 2022, as far as like deciding that this 300-page book that I wrote, I wanted to turn into a comic book, kind of born out of just my love of the medium, and then working in a comic book store part-time and taking stock of what I saw on the shelves. And from December of 2022 was when I met Ricardo Checky, who's the primary artist, pencil and inker on the book. And then we spent almost all of 2023 moving through the process of getting issue 1 off the ground. And then since then, it's been a dogfight. I just did my 73rd event this past weekend. We are well over $80,000 in sales. I've paid out over $50,000 to artists and creatives who worked on this project. I've done, I think I'm close to almost 8,000 units sold. And of those 8,000, almost 1,000 of those units are solely the graphic novel that came out last April. So it's where we're at.
It's just staggering, man. Like,
yes,
the fact that you can just rattle all of that off like it's nothing, that astounds me. And then B, it's been less than 4 active years with the hustle and the grind, but like your schedule is nuts. Like, so the issue 6 just digitally released today. Like, you just wrapped the campaign a couple weeks ago, and you've already got the pre-launch page up for the trade 2, which is gonna tentatively launch like end of June. And like, you're just back to back to back to back to back, like you never stop. And in the midst of all of that, you're doing 72 events over the course of what, 3 years? Like, I don't know how you're doing all of that, plus still staying a teacher, plus still working part-time at the comic shop, and you still have to be a husband to your wife. Like, what the hell, dude? Have you figured out cloning? And I'm talking to Carmen 2.0. and Carmen 1.0 is hanging out somewhere else. Like,
You know what's wild is if you were, would the other me know it? Right?
ooh.
We can get
Do the
meta.
clones realize they're clones?
That's like what's that show? Severance, dude. That's
Oh
how I
yeah.
did it. Severance. So to be fair, full disclosure, I do not have a life outside of this thing that I'm doing. Like I okay. So rewind quite some time ago. I've talked about this before. I was like a singer-songwriter. I got really far. A cup of coffee at Atlantic Records, licensed songs to MTV. This was like early like probably like 2010 to 2012 was when I was like most active. And um I'm so close with my former manager, who is now he's doing very well in the music industry, and we chat sometimes, and he's like, dude, you could have gotten a deal. Like we were very, like, you were like a sneeze away from getting a deal. And I remember saying like, yeah, but I didn't like what that road looked like. I knew, like, I took stock of like, what would my life be like if I moved forward with that? And I just knew myself well enough to know that it was not healthy. I was still drinking at the time. You know, I'm 7 years sober now. It was just like, there was a road that I just knew at the time I didn't want to walk down. Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of took stock. I was very proud of what I was able to accomplish, but like every once in a while, I always feel like, you know, oh, I probably could have done that, right?
Yeah.
So cut there, move to teaching. It's 2014, and I'm teaching and coaching track and field at the time, and I was powerlifting at the time, and like I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be in powerlifting, and I remember getting like slightly injured and knowing that it was because of track practice, because I was coaching indoor and outdoor track, and the program was great, but it was grueling, and I quit. I remember just being like, hey guys, I can't do this anymore. I want to focus on powerlifting. And then a year later, I'm on the platform competing at nationals, right? Like I qualified for nationals, got there, right? So after that, and like I went pedal to the metal there, to eventually got injured, got old, and was like, it's not worth it. I don't want to walk down that road anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all of that to say that I got to this point and I still love what I'm doing. And I feel like I owe it to myself from when I was competing and myself from when I was making music, just to really go all in on this thing. And I'm saying that to say that it took me to recognize, like, you're going to have to sacrifice probably everything else that you do, right? So I was a 4 to 5 times a week gym guy. Now, if I'm lucky, I go twice a week, and it kills me to not, because I'm pretty active, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I had to sacrifice that. So now it's like I go to the gym twice a week, maybe. I used to love playing video games with my friends. Now, if I get on when my friends are on playing and we're playing like Diablo 4 or something, we're probably doing that together once a month, maybe. Like, I don't see my close friends often. Like, it's like really, it was like a come to Jesus moment type thing of being like, all right, man, like it goes back to that Henry Rollins get in the van type of thing, where it's like you can't do both, you know, and be a good husband and try and be present when I can be. It's like, luckily my wife's an entrepreneur, so she has her own she's a hairstylist and has her own salon. So like, she's kind of also on that funky grind, so we see each other in those ways, right? But like, I think when anybody asks like, how have you not burnt out? How are you still able to do it? And I'm like, I just have to be just transparent and be like, I don't have any hobbies. Like, this is all I do. Every free minute of my time is consumed in some way by running the publishing company, Harpoon Creative Industries, or writing and working on the project, or like networking to kind of build that space. So there you go. That's the long-winded answer, but I wanted to give you the most honest take for it.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned it before uh I hit the button, but like it's the sameness recognizes sameness. I am an all or nothing person. I don't know how to do anything halfway. So like if I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it just mediocrely and
Yeah.
also do everything else. I'm going to jump in head first and I'm going to fully commit. And only once I do that can I then learn, like, okay, where's the balance? Because I tend to hyper focus because neurodivergence.
Yeah.
And so,
Sure.
like, if I get into that hyper focus mode, like I was up until 2 in the morning last night, just designing like the interior covers for the anthology that we just did because it needed to get done. And I felt the flow and I was like, cool. And 4 hours just gone. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta be at church
Yeah.
at like 9 a.m. It's 2 a.m. I'm sleeping for like 5 hours tonight. Okay. But it's like I got the thing done and I felt pretty good about it at the end of it. But it's those nights that telling anybody else that doesn't get it,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I was up till 2 a.m. like designing the interior covers. Like, why? Why couldn't you do that at like a normal time? Like, because I don't get motivated to do stuff at a normal time. And I'm trying to be as present as possible because I went too far into the fully committed thing with the show when I first started it. And I was doing like 5 streams a week. And
Yeah.
I like it just was not healthy for my marriage and
Yeah.
for like any other relationship because I would only focus on, oh, I have a stream tonight. I have a stream tonight. And so everything else, I was just thinking like, well, what time is it? I have to be ready for the stream. And then I do the stream and everything's great. And I love it. And I love talking to people. And I come out of it and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And my wife's like, I'm going to bed now. It's 9 p.m. And I'm like, oh, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't get to hang out with you. And it like took some other friends that had been like, hey, have you talked to her? Because I don't think she likes how much you're doing it. And I had no like idea because I was in my brain, I was like, I'm doing the thing. Like I got this hobby and I'm enjoying it and I'm having fun and she supports me and this is awesome. And turns out while I'm in here having a great time, she's in the living room on her phone on TikTok with like TV just playing in the background. And I just had no idea
Yeah.
until someone else pointed it out. And I'm still that way with a lot of things where I don't notice that I'm going into a rabbit hole until it's too late. So I'm hyper aware of now, 3 years later, of like, this has to be, everything has to be sustainable. Like that became my
Yes.
word of, is this sustainable? What's going to make sense for me? And now it's like Sundays. That's
Yeah.
sustainable for me because then Mondays can be my dedicated creative day at least once a week. If I don't have more time, at least once a week, I can do something creative and feel good about that. And then if I do more, awesome. But I at least am giving myself Mondays to do that for myself instead of having to do everything else for everybody else because it's easy for me to get lost in that and just like, oh yeah, no, look at this thing and look at that thing and like, let me check out this thing and let me read this thing that you wrote and let me, and like, by the
Yeah.
time I get to the end of the day, I'm like, God, it's 11:30 and I'm exhausted and I haven't done anything for me because I'm doing all of these other things for other people. And I'm like, that's not healthy either. So there's a weird, delicate balance for sure that I feel like it goes unnoticed a lot of times. So like, were you aware of it when you started Proctor and started this journey that like it was gonna be a thing that you were just all chips on the table? Or is it like, did you jump in head first and then have to, wade back a little bit or like how?
No, I kind of knew. Well, okay, so I think I started with the because I remember saying this too when my first time I met you and we did a show. I was like, well, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And then you learn like really soon, like really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I do think so I am very I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. So financially, I've always, always, always been hypercritical of money.
Mhm.
And I've always been pretty independent, right? So I knew that like it was going to be hard, but I think what locked me in quick, and you're gonna find this out too because you're doing shows now, right? Like cons where you have to sell books.
Yeah.
You get lumped up pretty quick when you go to a con and the table's $100 and you don't make table, or you make table and you realize that you just you didn't really make your table back because cost of product is real. So it's
Yep.
yes, you have $150 back in your pocket, but now you're out product. And that if you don't have the overstock, then you now have to probably buy that product back at a premium.
Yep.
Because you know what I'm saying? So it's actually, you don't have as much money. So I learn very, very quickly from pain. And I have a really high pain. So I learn very quickly from pain. And I also have a really high tolerance for discomfort. So I can stay in the ring longer than most people and get beat up pretty badly because I can sustain it. And as I'm doing it, I learn pretty quick with what makes sense. And it all depends on who I'm fighting, right? The bigger, tougher the person, I'm probably going to have to stay in there longer. I'm going to get beat up a little bit more, but I'm not going to die if I can just it'll take me longer to get there. But once I sort that out, I'm fine. So I think learning the financial aspect was kind of what forces you, or forced me anyway, to start making better decisions, right? And you just start studying all of the things. I told you this when we were just off air. When I first started running ads, I essentially lit $300 on fire because I ran an ad for a month. I created a video that I thought was cool, that I wanted to, I thought views would get me follows, and follows would get me true fans. And it just didn't work out that way because I didn't really understand how to build the ad the right way. So I ran this video, and because of the way the meta algorithm works, the video just kept getting fed to 65-year-old women who didn't like the book and didn't follow the book. I can just see a bunch of old nonnas just sitting on their phones on Facebook, and then just stopping when they get to my video and watching it just long enough, because Meta breaks everything up into 10-second watchers, 30-second watchers, 50. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you lose $300, you're this needs to be a learning experience. I cannot squander this moment. So that kind of especially because I'm a curious person, that kind of keeps me going and keeps me kind of, I think, afloat, because where I think most people shrug it off as being oh, I tried to run an ad and it didn't work. Or I tried to do this and it didn't work. And just saying this is stupid, it doesn't work.
Yep.
And then moving on, I kind of tinker a little bit more. I ask people, I reach out to folks, sometimes that costs money. Sometimes it doesn't cost money. I think we're, anytime I ask for advice from people, I'm yo, how much I will pay you for an hour of your time. And what does it, and that is advice to anybody. Find the smartest person in the room that's willing to work with you and pay them for their time, pay them for their wisdom. You are, and what you're doing is you're paying for their mistakes. You're getting their mistakes for free, right? Because they're going to be pretty transparent with you and sort of tell you. And, I think sometimes people just reach out to people and they're oh, I asked them and they said this or whatever. And it's you have to make sure that the advice is coming from a genuine place. You know what I mean? And more importantly, the other people are busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So typically if you're paying for an hour of their time, they're a little bit more locked in because they feel like they need to be, because they're like, I'm paying you whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like paying people to, and again, and then like paying someone kind of also forced me to be like, I just spent X amount of dollars on this information. You know what I mean? So I need to make sure that I'm
I
making
do something
use
with
of
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like especially like editors. I've paid readers sometimes where I'm like, yo, I need like an honest opinion on this. And people are like, oh man, yeah, I'll try and get to it. I'm like, no. I will give you $50 to read this. And you just give me feedback by tomorrow with notes. And most of the time people are like, oh, yeah, sure. Like,
Oh,
I can do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's also been helpful, is like finding better ways to use my money to acquire, knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You know? And like, here's another good example. Like I'm moving forward with a new sticker, and, I used, like, the sticker was a stretch goal from 2 campaigns ago that we didn't get to, but I heard some buzz that people liked it. So I was like, cool. So then I made it a stretch goal earlier that we did hit this time around. And that's like the Dancing Sam Circle Jerks sort of sticker.
Yep.
So, I bought a ton of them, right? And this is going to be another one of those good examples, right? Because those stickers are going to be stretch goal stuff. I don't learn a lot if I'm just giving people stuff that they were going to get. Like, I still won't know if people love it or not because I'm just giving them away, right?
Yeah.
But now I use these stickers at cons, and depending on certain bundles, you get to pick 3 free stickers. And I'll be able to get it. Like, now I'm creating a competition on my own table amongst my stickers.
Yeah.
And then I get to take stock of like, okay, that sticker sucks, right? Like, do not order more of that sticker, or that sticker is awesome. Okay, I know everybody wants that sticker. So now instead of buying 500 units, I'm going to buy 2,000 units of it, right? Yeah. And then paying attention to like those things, man. So it's like all of like the little things have been, I think, what's kept me afloat as long as it has. Doing 73 shows, as exhausting as it is, I was just telling somebody, like, if you do, we're at a point now where if you, let's just say the rhetorical you decide you want to release a comic book, and you were like, I'm going to do 7 shows a year, you now have to spend 10 years to learn what I've learned in 3.
Yeah.
Right. And not learn about the business, learn about your own product.
Yep.
It's sometimes people think that people do conventions so that they can learn about the community and the business of conventions. No. You do conventions to learn about what you don't know about your own product. Right.
Yeah.
Because those reps give you this perspective that kind of like, again, for me anyway, because I think, again, high threshold for pain. I think if you don't have that threshold for discomfort, you walk away a little bit more bummed. And don't get me wrong, there are still cons where I walk away feel like I got my teeth kicked in. But I feel like there's always something to learn. And as long as you can take what you've learned about your product and apply it to the next event, it really does make your product better. Like, that's like, conventions are the sharpening. It's like the iron sharpens iron type thing. Like, like your story. Now, granted, the story's already published. I can't go back and rewrite the story.
Sure.
But like the sticker stuff, like the aesthetic, like we are in a visual business, right? So learning the little nuances about what people like, from the posters to the stickers to certain panels in the comic book themselves, right? Because people will, like, for me, like when I show people here's a good example, right? So, when someone comes up to my booth and they say, like, I talk to them about the booth, about the product, all this other stuff, I almost always take out the graphic novel
Yeah.
and flip through the entire, like, I flip through almost every page of the graphic novel in front of them. Now, I don't, like, not page for page, but quite
Sure.
literally, I just fan it out, right? So, like, I'll kind of, like, flip through it kind of like that, right? Like how I'm doing.
Yep.
And I pay attention to kind of like how people respond to certain pages,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
and when you realize, like, okay, they said, I love the colors when they got to this page. All right, this is okay, I need to take stock of this page, right? Or for me, at least for the illustrated short stories, when they get to the illustrated short story, from what my interiors are and blah blah blah, they like it. So like it informs kind of the way that we move forward. Where like in some instances, like even with Ricardo, when we're working on art, like I might make a note or say like, hey, do you remember this page or this panel from this previous issue?
Yeah.
Like I want it to look like, can it echo that? Or when I'm working with new artists, I will use sort of that same thing. Like, hey, like take a look at, whatever this page, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for like this aesthetic. And again, it helps like you become way more efficient because you aren't as lost in the woods. You have some
Yeah.
breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going anyway.
Yeah. So a couple things that you said stand out to me because it makes me feel like I'm already thinking in the right direction. So I've done 3 shows. One was a bona fide show. One was like an outdoor just manga swap that I happened
it
to
counts.
be working at.
Yeah, it counts. Yeah.
And then one was a Star Wars Day celebration thing. And I had the first event was a 2-day event. And it was all like alt press, and it's where I rediscovered how freaking rad zines are.
Yeah.
And was like, this is great. First time I attended and met my now collaborator Alex Clark there, and like met a whole bunch of really cool people, and just like love the environment. So when it came around for signups, I was like, that's got to be the show that I start with. I have my comic now. I've got the zines that I was a part of. Like I can go do the thing. I've got stickers. I can figure out how to make buttons. So I made a shit ton of buttons, and then like quickly realized in the first probably 4 hours, the things that I think are very niche or very cool with what I'm doing that like supplement the comic or are, the branding for CHK Comics, whatever, those things that I'm like, oh, this is so freaking cool. No one else cares.
Nobody gives a shit, dude.
Like they don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about it. So they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, but I like this button that says make art. And I was like, hell yeah, you do? That's $1.
Yeah.
And so like so day one, I had a bunch of buttons that had the CHK logo on it. A bunch of the 3 cover artists that we just had for AHA, we had them design corner boxes to go on their covers. And so they like complemented what they did on their main cover design in the corner box, that it like felt uniform, but also unique. And I took all of their designs and put them on buttons. And I was like, oh, these are cool. Like a bunch of different artists did these. This is so sick. And I didn't move any of them. And I was just like, I am an idiot. So Sunday, I didn't put any of them on my table. I only put out my make art, and I have a FAI button that I put out. And those continued to sell. Like that's honestly how I made table, was selling those buttons. And so it was just this past weekend that I did events back to back, that I brought those buttons, and I was like, I've got all these surplus stickers. I have a huge like backlog building bank with my partner Hub City Slaps. There it is. It's in the description. If you want to get a discount, you can use Longbox Slaps and get a discount, and I get some kickback, and then I can order more stickers. But I have all of these stickers that I ordered from the Barricade Brigade campaign, and then like just other stuff that I've made throughout the way, that I was like, you know what? I don't need to sell these. Like I can just give these away, because a lot of people at Space, when I was in Columbus, had free stuff on their table, like free stickers, free buttons, a candy bowl. They were giving away zines, and I wasn't giving anything away. And I think that might have hurt me, at least in bringing people to the table.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll start giving the stickers away if you buy anything. If you
Mhm.
buy a button, you get a sticker. You buy a book, you get 2 stickers. If you buy 2 things, you get 2 stickers, like whatever. And so I just started playing around with that. And then it worked to a point. And I also was learning like, oh, people really like the monster stickers. Like they like the design of the monster, whatever it is about it, they like it. And these other stickers, they're like, okay, whatever. But like I sold a ton at Space of the show skull over there.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
the skull with the purple behind it. People were
Mhm.
like, that's badass. And I was able to be like, yeah, my wife right here made it. And so like that was fun to see that response. But like I sold more of the purple skull stickers than any other sticker or all of the rest of the stickers combined. And I sold a bunch of the make arts and the FAI buttons. And that's how I made all my money at Space. And so I was like, okay, so if that's the case, what else can I do? Like, should I make those buttons into stickers and then have those as freebies for if people buy something?
Yeah.
Because I know that resonates with people, because I think everyone at this point wants a man-made human art and not computer nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's all that balance and kind of learning from your table setup of like, okay, people like buying you. I'm going to put you at the front, and people might not like you, but they might if they get to see you. So I'll put you over here. And like, I want to never have a static table setup. I want it
Yeah.
always to be different, so that I don't fall into the same setup mentally that I do for every show. Like I want to have a different approach. So when I did the Star Wars Day, I was doing Star Wars skull graffiti sketches on cards, and I had those all over the table, and like just trying to find some way to grab people's eye for wherever I'm at to then draw them in. But I want to, I don't have any of my props ready, but I want to like, I want you to pitch to me like we're at a con and you're at the table,
Yeah.
and I think I can make this work. Maybe not. Yeah, not okay. I was gonna try and make you bigger and me in the bottom corner to be like, hey, Mr. Table Guy. So like, and I won't be the jerks that do this at a con. Like,
It's so here's the thing, man. Like I don't so I you know it's wild, dude. I don't here's what I do. If someone walks by my table,
mhm,
I say good morning, good afternoon, or hello. I literally I don't carnival bark. I never like, hey man, like I've seen this where people are like, hey man, you look like you like comics. Come over here and take a look at my comic. I don't do any of that. So I pretty much say, hey, how are you? I wait to see what people look at on my table. And
mhm,
then the minute someone, like if you just kind of like passively like look, like I don't even bother, right?
yeah,
But if you look at my table and you spend enough time there, like I don't have my flyer. Oh, here we go. And you spend enough time there, the first thing I just do is I just go, hey man, what's up? Here, take a card. And I like some people are like, I've heard people say this, and again, it's a financial thing, right? Like this is
yeah,
this is probably one of the best examples of like how you're going to spend your money and how you're going to, and this still might be a waste of money. So that's fair. Like people still might think this is stupid.
mm,
We live in a world now where people are like, I just have a QR code that brings people to my mailing list. I just do this. I just do that. Like
yeah,
I don't spend money on flyers because it's a waste of money. I think this has so much value to it.
mm,
I always have people to come back. It's super common for people to come back and loop back around. And it gives me an opportunity. Like when I hand you the card, like people typically, if they're interested, will take the card and then walk up to the booth. Like I don't have to shout
Yeah.
anyone down. But we'll talk about the card in a minute. But yeah, so if I just say like, hey, how's it going? Take a card, come on up. And the minute you want, do you want me to move into my?
Yeah, let's set the scene.
Okay, go
Let's
ahead.
set that. I'm a theater
Let's do
kid,
it.
so I gotta
Yeah,
set the
yeah,
scene,
no, I
right?
dig it. I dig it.
So we're at a con. It's Saturday late afternoon, so we're talking like
Okay.
3 o'clock. You
Okay.
have been through the busiest like lunch and after lunch, and I just showed up because I didn't want to deal with the crowd. So I'm just showing up. I got a pocket full of cash. I don't have any books in my hand. And I'm just walking around doing my initial, because I believe people. I was the same way. I didn't want to be a carnival barker. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you like cheese?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the
I got
worst.
cheese people in my comics. Come on over, bro. I'm like, damn it. Because that
Yeah.
happened to me. My
Yeah,
dad
it's
got
tough.
sucked in. I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I have to go check somebody out and take their money. Sorry, Dad. But I'm walking around. I'm doing my first, just figuring it out. And I'm just seeing who all's here, what I'm going to come back to, if there's anything I need to spend money on immediately. And if not, then I'll probably come back to the tables that I want to come back to later. So I'm walking up and I'm going, got monsters and stuff. Cool. Okay. Hey, what's up? Okay.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Yeah. Good.
So,
good.
yeah. So this is a comic series I started about 2 years ago. I can't take credit for the art. I'm the writer. The artist lives in Italy. The colorist lives in Brazil, and the letterer lives in Canada. It's
Wow.
a 6-issue miniseries. We're up to issue 6. So imagine if your favorite monster hunter had a drinking problem and a toxic relationship with her mom. It's pretty much how the story starts. Mom's a famous witch. Dad's a demon hunter who passes away when she's younger. She is a 27-year-old with an art history degree. She can't find a job, refuses to move back in with mom to join the Coven of Witches. So she starts hunting monsters to pay her bills, and calamity ensues. So again, in front of you, I got issues 1 through 6. Those are 2 illustrated short stories over there. They take place in between the issues. And then this came out last year. This is the graphic novel. It has the first 3 issues in it and the last 2 short stories. So you get this like mixed media reading experience. So if you take a look, like you got issue 1, and then as we move through, it brings you to the first illustrated short story, and then issue 2, and then 3, and then so on. So yeah, books are 10, graphic novels 25, and then I do a bundle for 40. For $40, you get all 6 issues, both stories, 3 stickers, and a poster. Or for 40, you get the graphic novel issues 4, 5, and 6 because they're not in there, 3 stickers and a poster. But yeah, this is welcome to the show. This is the journey that we've been on for the last couple of years.
Sweet. Pause. So you go through. That's so concise. God,
Yeah, thanks, man.
I don't have anything that can. I'm like, yeah. So like, that's a punk band called Hot Watermelon, and they're defending their turf against corporate monsters. Only realize that it's a real monster. There's no subtext there at all because I try and break the barrier of like I'm trying to sell you into just like, hey, I'm trying to make sure that you're having a good time because making comics should be a good time. So I try and hit people, and like it's one of those learned things of I said that once just as like an off comment, and the person came right back like, oh, no subtext at all there, huh? And I was like, no. And because it made me laugh, now I just include it in my thing. But I have found I don't do the last part of that pitch of connecting people with what the price for everything is. And going into like, hey, if you want to do a bundle and get this and that, I'll throw this in for free. Like, I don't get into that aspect of it. I think because I'm so wary of the carnival barker thing that I don't want to do that. But like, is that like a pretty standard?
So no, I mean, one of the reasons why I talk about the price is actually not, I mean, I want to let you know that you're getting the best deal you're going to find at my table. Like my comic looks as good as any book that you're going to see on a shelf in a comic book store. And you're going to pay $10 for it, which is less than what some people are charging, because some people are charging 15, number one. Number two, if you buy the graphic novel, you're paying what you would pay at a comic book store, right? Because it's 140 pages.
Yeah.
So again, you're seeing the value. And then if you do the bundle, I'm like outright crushing pretty much anybody that's around me. Like for any time I'm like, yeah, for $40, you get all 6 issues, both short stories, 3 stickers, and a poster. Everybody's like, for $40? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're like, I just bought a comic and a poster from that guy for 20. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's, I don't ever say this, but I'm just like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have. Like, that's like,
sucks to be you.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I, because again, like there is, and I say this with love in my heart, and it is a competition. When you are dealing with, if this is capitalism, it is like one person has a $10 bill, and there are 20 people who are all saying, buy my comic, or buy my indie comic, or buy my whatever. And I think we got to a point where like everybody like wants to try and present themselves to be as niche as possible, and they think that the nicheness or the uniqueness of what they are selling is why someone is going to buy their book. And I've really learned that's not what's going to happen, man, because whatever you see yourself as, whatever you identify as, whatever, imagine that there are 10 of you exactly like you, one after the other, dude. Right. Indie punk comic creator. Great. There's 6 of us.
Yeah.
So now what? So someone was like, I'm going to the con looking for an indie punk comic creator, and I have $10. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All 5 of these guys were just like, I'm an indie punk comic creator. And I'm like, well, now what? Because I wanted to support an indie punk comic creator, and now there's 5 of them. So for me, I've always been like, how can I just make sure I am presenting the best product as efficiently as possible so that I can educate the consumer with what I have exactly and how much it costs. That's it. How fast can I make sure you understand how good my product is and what the price is? So it's just about communicating value with as little friction as possible. And in some instances, I think it might bite me in the butt, because it might come off as like, this guy's like a hard sell, right? But like I've had more often than not, like pretty frequently, man, like people will even be like, yo, that's people will be like, yo, that's a tight pitch. Like people are just impressed. They're like, you just told me everything. I can get everything out in like 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. And the thing is like, I don't want to waste your time. Like if you don't, like, I don't want to have to educate you on the same information over the course of 5 minutes, because that's 5. Now you're in front of my booth for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Other people might want to come up to my booth, and I can't. That adds up. Like that becomes right. Volume is king with this stuff. So yeah, like trying to make sure I know, and more importantly, that I want you to know that you don't want it if you don't want it. Right? Like that's the other thing too, is like making sure that if you actually don't like what I have, you can just keep it pushing, because it costs too much money to do these events, man. Like here's the best example. Baltimore Comic-Con is murderer's row for comics, man. It's like, bro, like again, I'm competing against Tom King. Tom King doesn't care about me. He doesn't know who I am, right? But when I'm at my booth and I can see Tom King and people are paying $25 for a copy of the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow trade paperback that includes a Tom King signature, I have to make sure that the value that I'm presenting is, I have to believe that it's equal value to that. Yeah. I can't rely on, but I'm also an indie comic creator. So like, if you support indie comics, you'll support, like, Tom King's got a mortgage, dude. Support him too. Like, that's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I can't presume that, especially like with all the information that I'm starting to learn about, like, how little money these folks actually make
Yeah,
working for the big two and doing their own creator-owned stuff. Like, they really don't make that much money. So if you only have $25 and you're at my booth and you want to go get the Tom King signature with Supergirl, and you like my stuff, but you love his stuff, and you've been waiting for 2 years for him to come to your city, bro, go get your Tom King signature. I'm not going to be offended, but I just have to make sure that, if for nothing else, I show you why I think my book is as good as it is, and I educate you on how much it does, or frankly doesn't cost, in comparison to other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's really been, like, the understanding that we are in competition is important, because it forces everyone to create the best version of what they want. Like,
Yeah.
I've gone to events, and, like, in some instances, like, people will be selling stuff for a price point that I'm like, yo, it is wild to me that you're selling that for that much money. I'm not going to tell you that I think it's wild. I'll be polite. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, It got to a point, I was in an event actually where I actually told a dude how I felt. Like, I was next to somebody at a con. This dude was an artist, and this guy liked to toot his own horn. He thought his work was very good.
Okay.
And I'm not the one if I'm tired. So if you are if you're like oversharing, and you're like, dude, like, this place it's so slow, right? Isn't it slow? Like, dude, take a look at this, right? This is gorgeous. Like, this is gorgeous. How much would you pay? Like $100, right? Like, that's not bad. And I looked this dude dead in the face, and I was like, how much are you charging for that? And he's like, $100. I was like, bro, I'm being honest. I would not give you $25 for that. Like,
Woof.
I would not do that. So, like, consider the source, consider your audience. If I had $25 based on what's in this room, I would not spend $25 on that. And he never asked me what I thought the rest of the day, which was also a win, because I was exhausted. But
Yeah.
But, like, I think in some instances, like, you need to know those things, because you're just not. Here's the other tragedy: you're just not going to sell your stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
to do a Baltimore Comic-Con, if you're like, I drove 2 hours back and forth Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, each day, right? Yes. 4 hours on the road each day. Friday was from like 2 to 8 p.m. or 9. It was awful, right? So that's aside from the laborious task of doing all that, it's also a very expensive endeavor. Like, I think all in, if you're not getting a hotel and you're doing Baltimore, and for someone like me, taxes, like bridge tolls, gas, all that stuff, parking.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was like $800, right? Maybe not 800. Maybe it was like, let's just say 600, right?
Okay.
Like, again, my chaos math is, it's not just doing $600 in sales to make my table and I feel good, because you have to factor in the cost of product in you. So it's like, for me to break even, and this is like ballpark, for me to break even on a $600 spend, I need to do like $1,500 in sales for it to actually matter, right? Because the cost of product and to replace the product and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when I see people set up at these bigger events, by the end of the weekend, man, some people are like, yo, it's just not worth it for me to do this. And I'm like, I just like, I want to say, in some instances, it's like, dude, in some instances, maybe it's a rough weekend. Sure.
Yeah.
But in other instances, it's probably either because you're too expensive, right? It's just too much money. So you're
Yep.
not, even if it's good, it's just too expensive. So because it's murderer's row, you've got other people that are just as talented, one after the other, that if you're charging 100, they might be charging 75 because their cost to get in was maybe less. So they can afford to, it's that magic of it, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you're just too expensive. The other thing is maybe you don't have enough stuff that's good enough so that you can sell enough to do the thing, right? Because you might
Right.
have something that's amazing that you're selling for $10 and is worth $10, but you just can't get through enough of it. Like you don't have enough inventory.
Yeah.
Where like for me, I've got like a $50 bundle, a 40, like I know I'm like, if 10 people dig my $40 bundle, we're gonna be okay. If I can do 10 sales a day at $40 a pop, $1,200, we're good. I'm out the door, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that took a long time. Like it took me 3 years to acquire the inventory that I can put in this $40 bundle. I'm also not, and I get it, but print on demand and these like high, like, these companies that are charging like, and I get it, I guess they have to, I don't know, but like when you're paying $5 or $6 or $7 just to print your thing,
Yeah.
it's so like that, because some people are like, well, it cost me $7 to print it, so I have to sell it for 20. And my response is, I get that, but like it costs me $1.50 to print mine, so I can sell it for 10 as opposed to 20. So you're like, my model allows me to move my overhead down and do things like that. So like all of this stuff
Yeah.
is so important. But I genuinely believe the more people learn about like what does and doesn't sell, what is or is not competitive, the better their products get.
Yeah.
And as like an indie creator community, you need to listen. I've seen it because I've done enough of them. The well gets poisoned quickly. Like a promoter has a show and they have an artist alley, and if the fans go to this artist alley and they're not planning on getting zines, but all it is zines, and they were hoping for, and when you say indie, their familiarity with indie is Image Comics,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
true,
Yep.
or Zenoscope, which is true. Like
Yep.
all of these boutique Scout, whatever, Mad Cave, that's their experience with indie comics. And then they walk down this artist alley and it's not of that. It poisons the well because those people might not come back because they're like, well, what's the point of going down that artist alley?
Yeah.
If the books that I'm getting, I thought it was going to be these type of indie books, and it's those. I did an event at Rowan University, and the guy I was with, I'll call him an indie publisher, but he does not like the term indie publisher, and I understand why, because he was like, dude, I don't want, like, I'm a professional publishing house. I don't even tell people I'm an indie publisher. I just tell people I'm a publisher because I don't want them to get it twisted when it comes to what type of product they're going to expect when they come to an event that I'm promoting. And I was like, man, I'm still a little too DIY to want. I just feel comfortable. I don't see myself as a. I think I'm as indie as it comes. I just try and package it in a way that's like, I just try and there's a reason why each book costs me almost 10 grand to do, you know?
Yeah.
But like the cream will rise to the top and everybody will get better because everyone's going to be like, you know, you got to learn. And that's why I bring up my stickers. Like there's a competition happening on my table amongst my stickers.
Yeah.
Like, because you realize I only have so much real estate on my table.
Yep.
So do I have a spot for a t-shirt? I think that t-shirt's dope. I love that t-shirt. I have that t-shirt.
Yeah.
But if I put up that t-shirt, I can't put up the poster. And if people think the poster's cool and they're willing to spend whatever X amount of dollars on the poster and they actually don't care about the t-shirt, as much as I love the t-shirt, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And that's like a tough pill to swallow because you're like, I put so much time into designing that t-shirt.
It's
I thought,
perfect.
it's how can nobody like this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, but you realize like the creator don't get to decide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
So
and
that's like I just went on a soapbox rant and I apologize, but that's
No,
kind of like what
don't,
keeps
'cause
me fresh and going.
it's so good, dude. Like, this is exactly why I love talking to you, because you have the length of experiences. You've got so many shows under your belt that me, I've done 3 shows, and only one of them was like a true comic show. The other 2 were like, this is a very niche event that I don't know that I actually fit into,
Yeah.
but I'll give it a go. Like, who knows? It's another learning opportunity for me. And especially because the one was totally free for me to set up. And the other one was only like $25. But both of those, I was like, this is a learning opportunity. It's a networking experience, and it gets me more reps to practice for when I do another show.
Yeah.
Like, for comics people, surrounded by other comics people. Like, it shouldn't be as if I can sell somebody at a Star Wars event and I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt,
Yeah.
like I can probably translate that into selling at a comic show for somebody that wants to buy comics.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so that's how because I got stuck in the numbers and I got caught up in the, like, I just lost my ass in the show. Like, I had table cost, hotel, lunch, and like all the food except for the free continental breakfast, which was garbage. And so I was hungry anyway, and I didn't feel like the coffee and the caffeine and the more caffeine, and not the concession food, but like the beer after to try and unwind with my friends and my wife. And like, once you put all of that stuff into it, and the time that I spent making and paying for the raw materials for the buttons that I made and the stickers and stuff, it was like, I just spent so much money to be here and I made so little.
Mm-hmm.
And also for me, because I'm very, like, that was my first show. And it really was like a week of just, I'm a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
Because it was like driving the 2 hours home was a very sobering drive. And like,
It's the worst, dude. Yeah.
my wife and I did not talk in
Yeah.
the car because I was just like, oh, what the fuck did I just do? Like, I didn't make any I sold 7 comics all weekend. What the hell?
That's the good stuff, dog. That's the
So,
good
like,
stuff. Yeah.
chewing through all of that stuff and chewing through it from a numbers perspective and chewing through it from a, like, I went to the show and I spent as a guest like well over $100 the first time I went, because I was just like, everything is so cool here.
Yeah.
And like, I had a cool thing, and why didn't I sell $100 worth of stuff? And so it was like, it was all of those things, and I was caught up on the numbers. And then I talked to somebody, and I wish I could tell you to give them all of the credit, but somebody that I talked to or heard talking about shows or whatever shifted my perspective entirely from, I was only going in it to make money. And it was like, no, I was going in it to work a comic show. Like, hey, 12-year-old me, like, you're going to be behind the table at an event telling people about a comic that you made, and some people are going to buy it, and it's dope. Like, that's so badass. And you're going to have friends that are tabling next to you, and you're going to have your wife next to you, and you're going to meet all these cool people, and you're going to be able to do book swaps and like trade your book for someone else's book and get a haunted goblin hand out of it too. Like, and so for me, because I wasn't trying, I don't expect to make money
Yeah.
at the show. Like, I was able to take that perspective and then be like, it was my first show ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very niche show to begin with. And even within that niche, I have something that feels different, that isn't for everybody. And that's okay, because not everything has to be for everyone. And
Correct.
so, cool. I found some people that connected with me that have since like found me on social media and dropped me a line. And like, that's what I want to find anyway. Like, that's what I want to cultivate. I don't want to spend to go back way back, look at this full circle. I don't want to spend $100 to get 100 followers when 98 of them are bots. I don't like
Correct.
that means nothing to me.
Yes.
I want to spend the $100 to find the 2 people that are fully going to invest in everything that I do and support me as a creator and encourage me and show up and give me a high five and buy my shit and rep my stuff and, comment on stuff on social media. Like, I would much rather spend $100 for those 2 dedicated people than I would just to be able to say that I spent $100 for 100 people.
Yep. It's
And
the quest for those true fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The hard part is finding them.
Yes.
That's so, and I think that's something that that folks should think about is how do you are a lighthouse and you have to make sure you find the boats.
Yeah.
So sometimes the weather's bad and it doesn't matter what you do. Like, you're just not going to find the boats because the weather's just too bad. Right.
Yep.
But if the boats are in the water, you have to make sure they see you.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is by really fixating on, right. So I think something that that everybody should think about, and this piggybacks off what you were saying, right? Like, I'm not doing the show to make money. True. I think going in thinking about I have to make sales turns you into the carnival barker, and then it turns into this rough, weird weekend where you don't know, especially if you're carnival barking, you don't know if the person's buying your shit because they love it or because they really just feel so bad.
Because they're uncomfortable. Yeah.
Because they're uncomfortable, right? Like, I've seen a lot of that happen. So you don't want that either, right? But I think the best okay, Apple takes $1 billion loss on Apple TV, right? They can afford it,
Sure.
but to just wrap your head around the fact that at scale you can reverse design that and be like, okay, where am I at? They're willing to lose $1 billion to gain true fans.
Yeah.
Right. To find people that fall in love with their content. And that $1 billion is spent finding those people. Right. So I think when you're doing your con, not getting lost in the numbers and thinking more in that way, right? Like, making sure that you're finding the right people that are going to fall in love with your stuff. And sometimes it might not be at a comic show. Like, my worst events are comic events by far. Oh yeah, by far. By far, comic events are my worst events that are exclusively comics, because comic people are very particular about what they like and what they want, man. I'm the same way. I'm showing up to Baltimore Comic-Con because I want to fill my run of Fantastic Four and get a signature from Scott Snyder. I do not care about any of this stuff. And they're very particular. Whereas you do a horror show, you do a sci-fi show, anime cons can sometimes land, video game cons might land. You really don't know where your people are until you do 73 shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't know where they are until you go there.
Until you go there,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the name of the game. It's the lonely drives home are, bro. I mean, you'll trust me. That was not the last one.
I know. I know.
You got at least 20 more in the tank. At least 20.
Yeah.
But make even those moments, man. Make use of it. You're there. You're being cerebral. You're thinking about all these things. It's trying to pour yourself over what people did dig. And then be like, how can I open that lane up more? There's a guy. Do you know Zach Root? Have you seen any of his stuff on Instagram?
I don't think so.
His comic is called Reptile.
Okay.
So Zach's a Philly boy. I see him we bonded many a time. We're at a bunch of events. He's got this uber violent, dark conspiracy theory reptile Illuminati book.
Yes.
It's wild, bro, wild.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, if you like Preacher, The Sandman, any of that stuff, you'll probably like his book. He like watching his journey has been super interesting because he's probably, I think he's 2 issues behind me. I think he just put out his 4th. But like, again, we always do like the same punk rock flea markets together, and I always love looking at his table because he's always paying attention to like what gets him true fans.
Mm.
And if something doesn't work, he'll be like, I think I'm getting rid of this, or I think I'm getting rid of that. I tried this, it didn't work. And again, it's not so much as like, can I get money? Because
Yeah.
again, you don't know if that's an authentic buy as
Sure.
much as like, can I find a fan who's going to come back for issue 5 and like finding out what they like and talking to them about like, what brought them back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man,
Yeah.
like finding someone who comes back to your table because they have issue 1 and 2 and they just walk up and go, I need 3, 4, and 5, and they just hand you money. You're like, okay, this is
Oh, great.
this is, but I think that doesn't come from carnival barking. I don't even think that comes from like marketing. Marketing always helps because it helps you find your people faster, right?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
shortens that timeline. But I think it's like it's the lighthouse thing, man. Like
Yeah.
people,
Dude, I love that metaphor.
dude, you just want people to see what you have, and there's a chance that you're gonna go to a con and no one's gonna like anything that you have, and that means one of 2 things. 1, you're at the wrong con. 2, it's your stuff isn't good enough yet, right?
Yeah.
Both of those pieces of information are worth their weight in gold, right? Because that means you're like, okay, this isn't a good con. I'm not doing this again. Next year, this same weekend, I'm doing this other event, right?
Yep.
Fair. And then being like, okay, no one liked this product that I have, and I hate referring it to it as a product, but like it helps me get through the whatever, right? Like nobody likes this thing that I have. Why? Right? Was there anybody who spent time thinking something about it was cool? Almost always yes. Like even if no one buys anything, there's a really good chance that there's something that you have that people identified with in some way. Sometimes the hard part is sifting through your own stuff to figure out, like, it's like when you put out a record and you're like, oh, I'm in a band and we recorded a record with, we have 30 songs. It's like, all right, well, you can't make a 30-song record, dude. So which songs are the best 10 and which one of those 10 is the single? And you're like, I didn't think this was going to be a thing. Like, I didn't think this was part of the thing, but I guess I forgot about all that. You know what I mean? Like, you find out that like some of these hip hop dudes like have like literally record, like they have like 100 tracks, and they're like, okay, I spent 2 years recording 100 tracks, and I have to pick 12 for the record, and it's like, good luck, man. Like that's really, really hard to do. So I think people lose sight of that sometimes. When some people are like, I made this one thing, so this is what I'm going to try and sell. Or and it's like, well, yes, maybe. Because I do think, yes, that happens because there is such a thing as like the lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean? Like some bands put out their first record and you're like, where did this come from? And the band themselves are like, we just recorded the first 12 songs we had and now we're billionaires. You know, that's real for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the bands that like can stay for 30 years or 25 years are the bands that are like every time they recorded 20 songs and they were able to sift through like, all right, not this one, not that one, not this one. This is maybe the single, maybe it's that one. They've let 1 million people listen to it. There's like the reps thing.
Yeah.
I think that that people kind of lose track on, and like everything with visual stuff, I think is a rep. Like maybe they don't like the cover, but maybe they like the first page. Like, and that is real. Like for someone to be like, oh, like they look at the cover and they kind of make a face and they open it and they're like, oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
And you're
Yeah.
like, dude, I didn't even think that was cool. Like I just needed something to put on the page. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like little things. Like for me, the one thing that stuck out, and I guess I have to give my wife credit for this. So I guess I'll do it. Okay, so we have a French bulldog. His name is Pickle. For
Perfect.
for the issue 2 Kickstarter, there was a thing where you could pay to get yourself drawn in the next issue. It was for issue 1, you pay to get drawn in issue 2. My wife was like, "Well, I'm doing it because I want the dog drawn into the book," and I was like, I'm sure we can figure out a place for him somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was on one of the covers, like, because I did the Empire Records cover swipe.
Yep.
And the dog, like, I was like, oh, I'll just put Pickle on there as the dog. Like, he's in the book, he's canon, like, whatever. So many people were like, I love that dog. And I was like, oh, man, I guess this dog needs to be in this book more. Like,
Yep.
and the book had already been done. But it did inform future decisions, future storytelling, like all that other stuff. But that just comes from people seeing your stuff in different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the different ways they experience it. Maybe it's the last page. Maybe the 2-page spread that you did. Maybe it's the monster itself. And you're like, well, I didn't think of using this specific monster as something worth designing a story around, but maybe I should. And then all of a sudden the monster becomes the thing that like, and that's like classic band stuff, whether it's like Milo or the from the Descendants or like the Less Than Jake kid or the MXPX kid or the Stomping Rabbit from Blink-182. You know what I mean? Like all of these band characters that I think start as doodles or whatever, that people are like, oh, I really love that. So it just communicates things to people. Yeah.
I love that. As often happens, I have completely lost track of time with you. So this is gonna feel like an abrupt end, but dude, I fucking love talking to you.
Appreciate it, dog. The sentiment is the same.
Like, I haven't shown any of the comments, but people are like sounding off about just some of the things that you've said of like how you sell yourself as a creator.
Nice.
Stellar advice that's happening, like the quantity and the cost per quantity thing for the $100 and getting to know your printers. And I love this one. Like, dear diary, Carmen believes in you. If you build it, they will come. Like all of the things that just it people resonate with just, I think, the enthusiasm and the passion that you bring to it. And I just can't help it. Like I'm going to be watching playoff hockey tonight, but I also want to just make all of the things now because I'm like, I have Carmen's energy.
Yeah, dude, just
I'm going to sign up for 73 shows, all happening next weekend. And it's going to be incredible. But dude, I love having you on. I love talking to you. I love that I can text you at random times at like midnight.
Always, dude. Yes.
And just like, okay, so question, how should I be thinking about this? Because I don't know what to feel right now. And you're like, oh, bro, got you. So I just appreciate you, dude. I would be remiss if I didn't take the screenshot and have the final thoughts from you as well. You've got this beautiful mustache that you're showing us.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a little finger stash here. And that's what I'm going to do. We're going to go 32. Yes, blame. And also, like, what are your closing? We've just completely lax. If this is your first time watching, go watch any other for my very buttoned up ending. I'm just in energy overload right now. So what do you got for final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Spend time. Okay. Stay away from hometown gas. Nobody wants their mom on Mother's Day, especially, to tell them that they're good at something, right? Put as much of your content in front of people that you don't know, in a way where you think you can get honest feedback. And I know people are like, nobody cares what people thinks. That you have to care what other people think, right? So put your content out there as frequently as possible, but spend time vetting that content, thinking about where its place will be in the marketplace, right? I think some people, like, I just did an event in New York and it was wild because there were 600 people in the room, 600 vendors, like not people. Wow. It was oversold. It was wild, but that's a whole other conversation. But a lot of art school kids, a lot of folks really discouraged, and a lot of what they were doing was stuff they were putting out there for the first time. So a girl came up to me and she was like, she looked at my book and she said, how many of these did you print? And I said, 1,500. And she was like, you ordered 1,500 of this book? And I said, yeah. She's like, oh, she said, how do you know whether or not it's good enough to print 1,500 copies of something? Because I told her, I was like, it cost me $6,000 to order 1,500 copies of this book. And she said, how do you know if it's good? And I said, why would I ever try and sell something I don't think is good? Like, why would I ever, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go to war. Like, I'm going to put everything into it. Like, I print at such high volume because I vetted this thing. It's bulletproof between my perspective, consumers' perspectives, everything else, so I don't ever have to worry about ordering another 10, ordering another 15 if it sells, because I'm not sure. On top of that, for anybody who's listening, I've been writing books since I was 25. I'm 41. I've been telling stories and having people read my stories and give me honest feedback for over 15 years. This was the story that I felt like had the most legs, so much so that I was ready to put the bullets in the chamber. That takes time and discomfort and a ton of friction, right? I've talked about, like, my pain tolerance is super high. This is one of the reasons why I think sometimes we want to be like, I made this thing and I'm proud of this thing and I'm going to put it out. Yes, be proud, be enthusiastic for sure. But if it's only your first thing and you believe in that 10,000 hours rule or anything of that ilk, give it some time, explore some feedback, so that if that isn't the thing, you know exactly how to make the next thing better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you shouldn't get discouraged if something doesn't do what you thought it was going to do. It probably wasn't supposed to do what you thought it was going to do, because that's by design, right? Yeah. It's taken me 73 cons and 6 issues off of a book that took me 2 years to write after I had already written 7 other books. You know what I mean? It's it is a marathon and not a wind sprint. So those are my final thoughts, man.
I love it. And dude, thanks. Just thank you.
Yeah, dog, anytime.
Sharing all the stuff, bringing all of the, like, brass tack truth that a lot of people, I think, don't.
It's pretty brutal. I think I have enough. I probably have enemies. My car is probably cheap. I just accept it, dog.
Listen, if you got a boot on your tire, just jack up your car and take the tire off and throw it in your trunk and put the spare on, drive home, and then figure out how to cut it off.
Yes.
Yes. I saw a student on the local college campus doing that just like 2 weeks ago. So there's that. That's fun. That's it. Just find another way to do the thing and go do the thing. appreciate you. Hang tight. I got super quick logistics. Everybody else, thanks for being here and for signing off in the chat. And I hope you had as fun as a time as I did. I know you didn't take as many notes as I did. But Carmen, I appreciate you. I look forward to the pre-launch for Trade 2 is in the description. It just was set up and made live, so you can follow the pre-launch for it, so you can get notified when Proctor Trade 2 for the second half of the first full mega 6-issue arc. You'll be able to get trades 1 and 2, so you can get the whole story if you missed it. It's super good. I love Sam. And it just like, there's so much in the book that I resonate with that I'm like, yeah, no.
Thank
okay.
you, dude.
Yeah. So, appreciate it. I love the story, and it's not wordplay, or word, whatever. I genuinely think like Proctor is one of the best comics that happens on Kickstarter regularly.
Thanks, man.
Because of your willingness to get feedback and sit in what could be an uncomfortable conversation for some, to get honest feedback and then take it to heart and see how you can iron sharpens iron and continue to move forward. I aspire to do the same, so I appreciate the inspiration. Now I'm going to stop rambling. Tell your mom I said Happy Mother's Day, and go do what's good for you, and make some art, because it's good for you and it's good for us. We'll see you next time.
Later.